Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? We're here for the back porch sessions, and I can't figure out how to get my background to play, but that's fine. Who cares about that? Welcome, everyone, as you join us this morning. Hey, Akash, hello. As you join us, please hit that like button and jump in the comments, and please share your name, your city, your state, your town, where in the world you're joining us from, and one thing you are grateful for today. Can everyone hear me okay? If you can't hear me, please put it in the comments, and we'll see. We'll uh, we'll get that going here. I'm trying to see for reason my background isn't playing, but okay. Who cares? Can you all see me good? Who's out there today? Jump in the comments, let us know. This is the first back porch session. I used to do this a lot more, but we've been traveling. For those of you who don't know, uh, my wife and I, we sold our home and most of our possessions last September. We've been taking our four kids. We've been traveling around the country with our four kids, and we don't always have great broadband. So I stopped doing a lot of the lives, but we got pretty good broadband here. I realized this morning that my laptop wasn't charged, so I'm doing it from my iPad, which is a little bit of a different experience. So whether you are joining us on YouTube or you're joining us on LinkedIn, welcome. Good morning. It's 6 a.m. here in Arizona. We're in Cornville, Arizona. Hey, Rick, how you doing? Rick, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay, Rick? Just put it in the comments. This is the first time I'm doing this from my iPad, and I feel like I'm screwing it up. But welcome, Rick. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, Danelle. Kay, how you doing? From Peony Garden in Waverly, Nebraska. Welcome. We are here, and you can see where we're joining us from here. Let me give you a little background. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I'll do it from this way. Well, I don't know if I could turn it around. We're here. That's Oak Creek. This is my backyard. This is my office here, working from outside. We're here on Oak Creek in Cornville, Arizona, which is right near Sedona, Arizona, which is just absolutely magical. Babette, hello, welcome. I'm so glad you could join us today. Grateful for days of rain to slow me down, read, and relax. That's great. As you jump in the comments, please put in the comments one thing you are grateful for today. It is Saturday morning. I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful for the sun. I'm grateful that I get to spend my day. We're actually going to go kayaking. My son and I, my 12-year-old son and I are going to go kayaking here just about right when I'm done. Grateful for my coffee as well. So let me know what you're grateful for in the comments. Rick, I can hear you fine. Welcome. Kay, thank you for joining us from Nebraska. Rick, joining us from Pennsylvania. Welcome. As you join, let us know your name, your city, your state, your town. We're going to talk about in these back porch sessions, and maybe I'll do these every Saturday or every so often, being more purposeful, productive, and prosperous, and a variety of different things that might mean. Now, this morning, I'd like to talk to you about building your freedom business. Now, my ability to travel around the country with my family while I grow my business. When I say growing my business, there's a difference between growing your business and scaling your business, right? Growing your business, I've done that. This is my third time I've grown a business, and I had a 7-figure agency that I shut down 3 years ago because I was unfulfilled. I was 60 pounds heavier. I was on a cocktail of prescription drugs, anxiety attacks. I wasn't being an epic father, an epic husband, and so I shut my company down at peak revenue. It wasn't a freedom business. I wasn't scaling it. You see, you can grow your business and you just focus on the numbers, but then the rest of your life is out of alignment. When you scale a business, yeah, you grow the numbers, but you provide that unique impact that you want to provide to the maximum amount of clients you can serve while still enabling your freedom lifestyle. That's what scaling a business is about. It's the ability to maybe hire people, hire help, grow. You grow the numbers and you grow the metrics in your business, but you don't squeeze out other things in your life. That's what scaling a business is all about. That's what a freedom business is all about. And like many people, I had built a prison instead of a business. That's not a freedom business. Freedom business allows you, it enables you, it empowers you. A freedom business is not an end unto itself. So many of us, we really get in and we clearly identify our work and our career and the type of business we want to run. And then we shoehorn in our relationships and our self-care. That's not a freedom business. That's a good way to build a life of unfulfillment. It's a good way to build a prison instead of a business. But a freedom business is one where you define all three. This is what I want my life to look like. And if you follow me regularly, you know that I think that work-life balance is total BS, because there's not work over here and life over here. There's just life. And a freedom business looks at the three facets of your life: relationships, self-care, and work. And you build a life of alignment. Your business is one part of that, but it's only one part. Do you want to be that person who gets to be 65, 70, 75 on your deathbed and said, I have a life of regret because I focus so much on that business. I focus so much on putting X amount in my bank account, and I ignored my relationships. I ignored my self-care. Listen, if you want that to be how it all ends up, more power to you, but I know many of you don't. And I know many of you are struggling right now, not just to make money, but to make money in a way that allows you to have that aligned life. And so this next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and I'll throw the link here in the comments in a second, I'm going to hold a Freedom Business Blueprint, 7 p.m. Eastern webinar. And if you'd like to join, I'm going to throw a link in the comments here in a little bit. If I can figure out how to do that. It's been a while since I've done StreamYard, and I'm doing it from my iPad. But I'd love you to join. You can actually look at my activity I posted yesterday about the webinar. But I would love you to join the Freedom Business Blueprint webinar. Let's go and see who's joining us here. We got Babette from Pennsylvania. Welcome, Babette. We have, I'm looking for the hacksaw to get out. I can't see who's joining us. It only shows up as LinkedIn user, and I don't understand what that's talking about. Kunal, is it Kunal or Kunal? Hey, Curt, joining from India. Grateful for getting to hear you live this Saturday. I'm grateful that you are joining us here today. Jennifer Cisneros, Olathe, Kansas. Did I pronounce that correctly? Grateful for a lovely day and the possibilities of where life will take me today. Jennifer, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today. Babette, love your drive and passion. Curt, thank you, Babette. That's another part. We hear a lot about do what's your passion. Passion's one part of it. And Jennifer Grosso, I don't know if Jennifer Grosso is here joining us today, but she had a great post earlier this week that says passion alone won't get you there. You've got to have systems and processes in place. And becoming process-oriented was a game changer in terms of my mindset, because you can't have only mindset without process. Having that positive mindset, that great mindset without a process, is akin to having a smile on your face while you sink in quicksand. Good morning, Brian Brogan. You see, if you have mindset without process, you're going to beat your head against the wall. You're going to become incredibly frustrated as you go, and that mindset will take a beating. But when you have a positive mindset, that's great on those days when you wake up and you don't feel like doing anything. It allows you to work your process. And the more you work your process, the more you focus on those three outcomes, that one step in front of the other that you have to take today. And when you do that, there's less frustration. Process fuels mindset. Mindset fuels process. But if you don't align the two, having a positive mindset, as I said, is akin to sinking in quicksand with a smile on your face. So if you're not process oriented, then I'm sorry, you're not mindset oriented. And I know that's so different than the hustle and grind pornographers would have you believe. They would have you believe it's about hustle. It's about grind. It's about motivation. It's about adrenaline. It's about having those 16 cups of coffee in the morning, getting yourself pumped up and beating your head against the wall. You know, a lot of these, you can see the stream behind me, Oak Creek, right? That winds through the mountains here in the Sedona area. And I love mountain streams. Imagine you're a mountain stream and that water is flowing forward, right? And some boulders fall down the mountain and fall in the stream. Now think of those boulders as the challenges in your life and in your business. Now the hustle and grind pornographers would have you go up, get pumped up and go up to those boulders, grab those boulders and hit your head until it's bloody. And if you say, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this anymore, those people, and they sell a lot of books, they sell a lot of hustle and grind from the stage, they would have you believe if you don't want to keep getting bloody and beating your head, then you are weak and you got to get stronger. But then there's those of us who would prefer flow to hustle and grind. And we come up on those boulders, those challenges in our life, we just flow to the right or we flow to the left. And as I flow past that border on the way to my vision, because I've clearly defined my vision of where I want to go, guess what I'm doing? I'm waving at all those hustling grinders who are beating their heads, who are bloody behind the boulder, who are stuck behind the boulder and not getting any closer to their goals. So I will choose flow over hustle and grind any day of the week. And I urge you to as well. Thank you, Frank. Frank, congrats. I think this weekend, right? You're opening a new location, maybe Monday. So congrats. Great seeing your growth. If you are in the Charleston, South Carolina area, follow Frank. He's got an incredible healthcare model, businesses, Holy City Med. And I think he's cracked the code in terms of well care and healthcare, especially for businesses. So Frank, thank you so much. Watch out, Ellen Watts. It says LinkedIn user. I don't know why I can't see who's joining us there, but I'm gonna guess that is Joseph Miller. By the way, as you join us, let us know your name, your city, your state, your town, where you're joining us from, and what you are grateful for. I appreciate that. Choose flow. Yes. So thank you, Frank. I think Joe Miller's joining us. Brian, Babette, Jennifer, Kunal. Let's see who else is joining us. Rick Williams, Akash. Thank you all for joining us today. Now, one thing else I'd like to talk to you about, maybe we'll talk about more things. And by the way, as I go here, I'd like to know what questions would you like me to answer here? And listen, I got my coffee. I'm out on the back porch. What questions do you have for me related to building a freedom business, to building freedom in your life? Hell, about anything, about my travels with my wife? Throw them in the comments. Would love to answer your questions here. Now, one piece that I said I was going to talk about today is your ideas and your imagination. Listen, I'm big on creativity. I'm huge on ideas and imagination, but your ideas might be killing you. Now, what do I mean by that? Last week, I did a podcast, the Authority Brand Podcast. By the way, you can go to theauthoritybrandpodcast.com, subscribe to that show. And the name of that podcast was The Importance of Being Dumb and Excited. And that was something that was told to me by my mentor, Joe Peachy. And I'm doing a boot camp, a live boot camp, Business Trifecta boot camp. By the way, if you're interested in that, send me a message, put it in the comments. And by the way, if you're interested in the Freedom Business Blueprint webinar this Thursday at 7 p.m., put Blueprint in the comments and I will send you the link. If you're interested in attending the Freedom Business Blueprint webinar this Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, learn how to build your freedom business, get in that state of flow and build that freedom business, put Blueprint in the comments. And Yanalise, I'm very first time here from Kentucky. Welcome. Yanalise, share with us one thing you're grateful for today. Frank, leading with great love and care. I do. I know you do as well. Plan, do, check, act, cycle, model for our personal life. That's wonderful. Babette, put Blueprint. If you want the link to the Freedom Business Blueprint webinar this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, put Blueprint. Frank Wells, you're enrolled in Blueprint. Put Blueprint here below. So my mentor said, Curt, I had all these ideas for my boot camp. Business is called the Business Trifecta Boot Camp. Branding, marketing, mindset. It's going to be live in Orlando in October 28th, 29th. If you're interested in that, let me know. And I had all these ideas to add on. And he said, Curt, Just focus on the basics. Sell your boot camp. Provide that impact. And he said, be dumb and excited. Be dumb and excited. It's important to be dumb and excited. Why? Because some of us are strategic thinkers. I'm a Gallup strengths trainer, and we unlock people's talents, and some people are strategic. And it's important to be strategic. You have those great ideas. But sometimes we can become endlessly strategic. We come up with too many ideas and we clog the drain and we don't act. It's important to take one of those ideas and act, because when you act, you learn. I don't say fail. You act and you learn and you optimize. I used to be in online advertising, and we would cast a wide net. And then what would happen is we would optimize who's jumping in that net, who's clicking, who's viewing, and we would optimize from there. Guess what? It's about action as well. Ideas are wonderful. I did a retreat a few years ago, and we had about 10 men at the retreat. Most of them were strategic thinkers. The number one challenge of the room in that retreat was failure to take action and act upon their ideas. It was that endless, to quote George W. Bush, strategizing, right? So your ideas can kill you. Just because you have wonderful ideas does not mean you will be free, fulfilled, successful. You have to act on those ideas. Imperfect action is important. My last webinar, we had an internet outage. I drove to the local Starbucks. They were drive-through only. So I sat in the parking lot and did my webinar. By the way, I crushed it. I'm getting some clients from that webinar, but I just did it. How many of you take 6 hours to get your podcast right? You got to look exactly right. Listen, my laptop this morning was unplugged. So I grabbed my iPad. I've never done this on my iPad. And I'm sitting here doing this right now. Take imperfect action. Pick one of your ideas. You might have a lot of ideas this morning. Pick one and act upon it. Reverse engineer. Build a process to act regularly on your ideas. And guess what? That idea may not come to fruition, but when you act, you learn. And when you learn, you optimize. And that's the best way to progress. So your ideas might be killing you because you got so many wonderful ideas that you clog the drain and you don't move forward. So build that process. Take imperfect action. Don't be afraid to take imperfect action. Let's see. Frank, grateful for our amazing team at Holy City Med. They look for ways to serve others. That's awesome, Frank. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, we got Larry from Connecticut. Good morning. Have enjoyed following your journey, Larry from Connecticut. Larry, thank you so much for joining us today. And by the way, again, as you join us, share one piece, one thing that you are grateful for today. Hell, share 3, share 4, share 5. When you start your day with gratitude, guess what? You set yourself up for abundance. And in my book, I urge you, I invite you, everyone, to start your day with 2 simple questions. Listen, it's easy to wake up in the morning and say, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. I have this conference call today, I got something that's tough. You see, that conversation you have with yourself first thing in the morning is the most important conversation you will have during the day, because it can set you up for abundance or it can set you up for scarcity. So ask yourself 2 questions as soon as you open your eyes in the morning. The first question is, what's awesome about today? Start with awesome. Start with the fact that you're above ground instead of 6 feet under, that the sun is shining, that sun came up again, that you're going to spend time and see someone you like or love during that day. Whatever it is, you start with awesome. What's awesome about today? But then that second question is, what will make today even more awesome? What will make today even more awesome? You start with awesome and you go from there. Listen, it acknowledges that maybe there's some things in your day that aren't as awesome as you'd like. So you're going to make them more awesome. If you watch social media, the TV, whatever, it's easy to think, and yes, even in the COVID era, it's easy to think that the world is the worst it's ever been. Untrue. It's easy to think we're more violent than we ever been. Untrue. It's easy to think the climate and the environment is the dirtiest it's ever been. Absolutely untrue. The facts bear this out. It's easy to believe that poverty is the worst it's ever been. Guess what? Completely untrue. But your friends on Facebook, social media, even LinkedIn, the little news thing they put in the corner is all gloom and doom, because guess what? Fear is a strong emotion. Fear is a strong emotion, and it keeps you coming back. It keeps you clicking. It's buying ads. It's selling ads for those other people. You're making yourself a prisoner of those other people when you wake up with scarcity, when you wake up and say the world is going to hell. But it's absolutely not. What's awesome about today? What will make today even more awesome? Hell, share them in the comments if you'd like to do that. But one suggestion I have is create more and consume less. Gosh, we consume all the time. We have multi-screen. We consume the news. I'm going to be doing a podcast series here soon called Fear, Love, and Creativity, because fear and love are the strongest emotions. And when you make decisions based on fear, you shut down your creative flow. And your creative flow is the most important, the most potent superpower that we as humans have. And when you act from fear, you shut it down. And we've seen over the past year, listen, there's a lot of reasons to be fearful over the past year. But when you look at the numbers, when you look at the statistics, when you look at the people who take care of themselves, you're less fearful. You're less likely to act in a way that hurts other people. I mean, locking everything down, we now know that doesn't work. We know that hasn't worked. The places that locked down the most got hit the worst. You may disagree with me, but I choose to operate from love instead of fear. So we're going to be doing a mini series. We already have the great Bob Berg, who's committed to be on that, Randy Gage, Aaron Urban. We have more people coming on to have that podcast mini series. When you operate from love, you allow the oxytocin to flow through your body. When you operate from fear, cortisol flows through your body. And what happens? That's the stress hormone. That's a killer. That is the killer. Fight, flight, or freeze. When you're in fight, flight, or freeze mode, you're dumber. You're not creative. You're not allowing your creativity to flow. But when you operate from love, the oxytocin flows through you. You're more relaxed. You make better decisions. You make more creative decisions. So operate from love today. That starts with abundance. That starts with what's awesome today. What will make today even more awesome? But when you operate from fear, it's cortisol. Go ahead and sit on the couch, suck your thumb, curl away in the fetal position and operate from that. And I have seen people do that over the past year, and I feel for them. I have empathy for them, but I don't have sympathy for them. Because the number one key is stop consuming the crap on social media. Stop consuming the news. It's gloom and doom. And now we see a lot of those scarcity politicians reversing course from where we all knew we were supposed to be months ago. They want you to operate from fear. Guess what? Fear buys votes for you. Fear sells ads. Fear gets clicks and makes you a prisoner of their agenda. Operate from love instead of fear. So what's awesome about today and what would make today even more awesome? Share them in the comments. Frank Wells, amen. Bet love conquers all. You know, it sounds cliche, but the funny thing about cliches is they're only cliches if you don't act on them. Love does conquer all. Absolutely. Frank, I'm grateful for people who encourage others like you, Tony Robbins, and many others. We all are poised for freedom. Start now. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you know we create our own reality? We create our own matrix around us, right? In our own minds, we're the center of the universe. And we're programmed with how other people think we should be. Our parents, growing up, our bosses, our peers. And we think we're one way, and we create that reality. It is fiction. And we grasp onto that reality. And so if that reality, that fictitious reality that we've created is pierced or threatened, it generates fear. I like going to that restaurant every Friday. Now they've locked it down. I have fear. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And you operate from fear and you do things you don't want to do. You do things that according to other people's agenda. But when you operate from love, you have the ability to step back and say, I am. Not I am Republican. I am Democrat. I am this. I am that. I am. And I am here and I am now. And I am present. And I see things the way they are, not the way I think I'm supposed to see it, or the media thinks I'm supposed to see it, or the politicians think I'm supposed to see it. And by the way, some people will say that's selfish. You not reading the news every day and getting so worked up over the news and having an opinion about everything. You know what? That's selfish. To some people, those same people probably think self-care is selfish. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is selfless. You're no good to your clients if you're dead. You're no good to your relationships, the people you love, if you're dead. You're no good to yourself if you're dead. Self-care is selfless. So don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Evangelia, I totally butchered your name, I think. First time listening to you, Curt, you're awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm going to do more of these. I used to do more of these. I have a friend who said it was like Curt Unplugged. You know, I don't have any script. In fact, because I kind of screwed up my laptop this morning, I know I wrote things in LinkedIn, but I can't even, I'm afraid to click over there. I think I've covered most of the topics. But again, this Thursday at 7 p.m., I'm going to have a Freedom Business Blueprint webinar. It's free. It will be live. And if you are interested in getting the link to that webinar, put Blueprint in the comments and I will send it to you. I don't go on and on in my webinar. It'll be about 30, 40 minutes, depending on how many questions you have. But if you want to learn how to build your freedom business, a business that allows you to serve, to use your unique impact, to serve the clients you want to serve, those ideal clients, the maximum amount of clients you can serve while empowering your freedom lifestyle. A life in which your relationships, yourself, and your work are aligned. Because as I said earlier, work-life balance, I want you to take that term, I want you to burn it, throw it out the window, shit can it, flush it down the toilet, whatever you have to do, because work-life balance doesn't exist. Because there's only life. There's not work in life, and there's three facets of your life: relationships, self-care, and work. And they have to align themselves. If you're interested in attending that Freedom Business Blueprint webinar, please put Blueprint in the comments below, and I will send you that link. You are the center of the universes in your own mind, right? That's the reality we create. But when you realize that we are nature. See, when I think we get in ourselves in trouble is when we somehow separate ourselves from nature, that we are not somehow part of the universe. And when we do that, we end up destroying. Sometimes we commit violence upon ourselves, right? This notion that somehow our body has no ability to create immunity, that our body has no ability to fight viruses or bacteria. How the hell are we here right now? If that was the case, right? But we separate ourselves from nature, and that's when we get ourselves in trouble. That's when the stress takes over. That's when we start destroying everything around us and destroying other people. So we have to remember that we are nature. We are nature. To think otherwise is foolish. I am grateful for my wife who is out in the rain where our dog, where I really should be. Well, thank you for being here. And thank you to your wife for allowing you to be here. The bet needed this today. Thank you. Frank, I love this. Let's soak ourselves in love, care, service, and blessings. We find what we seek. Love that, Frank. Love that, Frank. And if you are in the low country, in the Charleston area, follow Frank Wells. He's doing some great things with Holy City Med. They're opening up a new location here, maybe today. I can't remember, Frank, but I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. Listen, I'm here for a few more minutes. Do you have any questions? Do you have anything you'd like me to answer? By the way, I'm going to answer a lot of those questions this Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, Freedom Business Blueprint webinar. If you're interested in attending, put Blueprint in the comments. I will send you a link. Any other questions? I'm here on the back deck. Oh, I dropped the iPad. I'm here on the back deck. You can get a better view there of Oak Creek. Nice little background, nice little backyard. And we love Sedona so much. If you've never been to Sedona, it's just a magical place. And we've decided to stay here through July 15th. And I'm building my business as I do. I'm serving my clients. I'm doing my webinars, having one-on-one calls, something called the Freedom Inner Circle, which was a group of individuals. We have 3 live trainings a week, my private Sunday letter. If you're interested, put freedom in the comments and joining that. We got about 25 people, and it's growing, a private group. We just rolled out our June live events lineup. We have a mastermind every month where if you have a challenge, you bring it before the group. It's called the Freedom Inner Circle. It's about building purpose, productivity, and prosperity into your life. Would love to have you in. You can put freedom in the comments. And if there are no questions right now, I want to thank you all for joining us. This is my first back porch session probably in 2 years. Thank you for sharing some coffee with me this morning. It's 6:30 a.m. here in Arizona. I know it's a little later probably for most of you. I thank you for joining us. We had people across the world, Kansas, India, Pennsylvania, a few people from Pennsylvania, Nebraska, Charleston. I think we got Texas in here as well. I want to thank you for joining me today. Annalise Freedom, I will send you that link, whether you're joining us on YouTube or LinkedIn. Thank you for sharing your morning with us. And maybe I'll start doing this every Saturday morning. Not a lot of people go live on Saturday morning, but for those of us who like to have a nice cup of joe on Saturday morning, this works out perfectly. Thank you so much. For those of you who put Blueprint in the comments, if you're watching the replay, put Blueprint in the comments if you want the link to my webinar, Freedom Business Blueprint webinar, this Thursday. Thank you all so much for joining us today. My name is Curt Mercadante. This has been the Back Porch Session. If you want to learn more about my company, which helps individuals, businesses, and teams become more purposeful, productive, and prosperous, go to merc.enterprises. Follow me on LinkedIn. We will see you perhaps next Saturday, but either way, I post once or twice a day on LinkedIn. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much for joining us.